I want mine from the jump. I always wanted mine. Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know why? You know what is more about for me?
What is that?
It's because they're never going to cut us a check. That's just not going to happen. It's more of a disrespect when, kind of like we talked about a couple weeks ago, how they used our clip. And like I said,
you guys already know that you've been listened to, but it's stamped. So Adam Silver dropped some news regarding the NBA All-Star Game next year at the Clippers Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are sounding familiar. So 3 of the things is, 1, the All-Star Game will feature some form of Team USA versus Team World. There aren't specific details, but that's what he released. It will also now be in the afternoon instead of the evening time, and it will be on NBC instead. Mace, after hearing that news, and obviously we're still pending more details, what is your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about them making the game at the afternoon, as well as taking this game and actually making it USA versus the world, these are all flattering things, pause, because we know you're listening to me, you're listening to Killer. That's important, but we need a check. We know we're not with the big companies that you're talking about, but you can't keep stealing these ideas. I'm no longer flattered. I'm no longer flattered that people quote me and, use my IP. But it's time to pay up. We did that last season. You know what I'm saying? It's just enough is enough. I see them do this time after time. In big corporations, people that I think get paid to study, they be stealing a lot of my lines. It's crazy out here. Killer, I was on the internet the other day. They had your interview everywhere. It's flattering that people put the picture up, but come on.
Yeah.
I'm a partner. I need pause. I need in,
Yeah. Look, I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you, because I couldn't say. I never was flattered. I want mine from the jump. I always wanted mine. Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know why? You know what is more about for me? Is it's because they're never gonna cut us a check. That's just not gonna happen. It's more of a disrespect when, kind of like we talked about a couple weeks ago, how they used our clip. And like I said, ESPN, feel free to use our clips. We have no problem with it. The only problem I had was that anytime they use anybody else's clips, they'll say where the clip is from. And for our stuff, they never said where the clip was from. And that be my only part, the acknowledgement. The shit when they be like, yo, we've been thinking about it. And we came to the conclusion that if the United States face the rest of the world, that's the ticket right there. But you know how they make the announcement, the undermine shit? What they do is with status, I didn't even know everything. What we're gonna do is gonna be the United States in some form against the world, and then we're gonna do it in the afternoon instead of nighttime, and then it's gonna be on not TNT, but NBC. First of all, look, let's do a couple things, right? We know it's not gonna be on TNT because the contract is up, so we know it's gonna be on MTV. Now you try and douse it with, try and start a new conversation like, yo, why it's not in nighttime? Right. Why it gotta be in the afternoon? What the time got, all right, cool, whatever. The fact is, the main thing is that the United States will be playing against the rest of the world in some form, however you wanna word it. But you try to douse those other things into it, to belittle the main thing that's the main thing is that the United States will be playing the rest of the world. Okay, cool, it's not coming on at nighttime. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, whatever. Oh, it's gonna be on NBC. Duh, the All-Star Game usually was coming on TNT. We know it's not gonna be on TNT. I have no idea. Murder, I don't know what to say at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just like, you might as well just take our money and slap us in the face at the same time and walk off and say we did that. We're open for secret consultation. If you want to contact us and keep it, saying that y'all didn't use our consultation, we're available for that. We're available to give you secret ideas and act like, yo, it wasn't us. It's called ghostwriting.
Yeah, Nas wrote Get Jiggy With It.
Yeah, you know, Jay-Z wrote motherfucking Dre Day. I wrote for 3 Little Women.
You did?
Yeah, they hits, they single. I'm in the credits. I wrote that. Promises, that's me. I pinned that joint, man. I don't even know that's been Stat age group a little older, maybe. Maybe older than Stat. But yeah, man. We're very creative, man. Just tap in, man.
Just out of curiosity, is there a song that you wrote that you feel like a lot of people don't know about? Because I know you wrote a lot.
The thing.
You wrote half a Lil Kim album one time too, Lil C shit. Remember they paid you $30,000? Man, I wish I knew what I knew now. that was a lot of money at the time.
Yeah, man.
But I can't remember. I mean, I wrote for 3. I would have to look at my plaques in my house. I got a lot of plaques in my crib. But the one song that I will say that I did write, and I'm glad that they didn't take it, was I did write a song for Lil' Kim and she didn't want it. And the lyrics changed and I ended up keeping it for myself, and it's one of my biggest records. But I wrote I Really Mean It for Lil' Kim. Same format, I Really Mean It, and she didn't like it. That was one of the best things, because that's like one of my closeout songs, to be totally honest with you. And she didn't want the song, and I'm happy she didn't.
Wow. Yeah, I'm happy you kept it, because that's on fire.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so quick little mock-up, because I know really y'all have thrown out the idea of Team USA versus the world a lot, but these are the players, because I know we were going back and forth on what players should be the team. So they've got Anthony Davis, KD, LeBron, Steph, and Jason Tatum versus Wemby, Luka, Jokic, Giannis, and SGA. So which team would you guys take in their prime? And which team would you take now?
Stat, you go, Stat, with these questions.
Decided, maybe 2 answers.
Man, in the prime, this still would probably be a good game, but I think I'm gonna go with the overseas team. I'm going with the overseas team. Right now, I don't know nobody that could stop SGA. Right now, it just seemed like they would have been better putting a bigger guard out there, because this is going to be impossible for Steph to stop SGA. They don't have no answer for him. And with Wemby and the rest of them, I think they win by double digits. I don't even think it's a close game.
So you would take the world now in their prime and now over Team USA?
Yeah.
Okay. Cam?
I would.
There's only 4 niggas in that picture. That's the point. You can't even find a 5th nigga from America.
No, it's 5.
Who's the 5?
AD, KD, LeBron, Steph, and Jason Tatum.
Okay, I seen a picture with 4. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that team is good, but they're not gonna be able to play good together, because all of them need a lot of shots.
Well, to answer the question, I'm taking the world now. In their prime, I'm taking America in their prime. You know, KD in his prime, and I hate to use the word prime, because these guys are still playing at a high level. KD, LeBron, Steph, those 3 especially, for being over 35 years old, 36, 37, 38. KD's going to be 37 at the beginning of the season. Steph is 37. LeBron, of course, we know going to be 41. So I would definitely take that team in its prime, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's today. Today, you looking at this. Let's think about the guards. Who's the guards for America?
Yeah. So
it's Steph and who? Jason Tatum at the 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking SGA over Steph. You can argue if you want to put Luka against Jason Tatum. Let's do the matchups. Luka against Jason Tatum. It depends on what Jason Tatum you get. You know what you're getting from Luka. It depends on what Jason Tatum you're getting. Who we got at the 3? Giannis and KD? KD, my man, that's a good one, because KD can shoot. KD can shoot. It's all about pick your poison with that. Do you want the 6'10", 6'11" lethal shooter, or you want a nigga that's strong and dominant that's gonna go to the hole? Pause when you talk about Giannis. I would pick KD, but it's really about, that's not a bet. I wouldn't be mad if you did pick Giannis. Who's at the 4? LeBron against who?
Joker?
Joker at the 5.
Yeah, I would put AD with Joker. It would have to be
I'm taking Joker over AD.
Wemby.
Wemby against LeBron. I like Bron. Bron, you know Bron, my brother.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's hard, man. Boy, it's hard, man. It's hard, man. Yeah, it's hard, man. Pause.
And then you got AD versus Joker.
I'm taking Joker. I ain't even.
And the reason why I said the overseas team is because there's not much defense on this America team. It's like they're not gonna be playing no defense other than LeBron and Tatum. Nobody else really is gonna be playing defense. So that's two positions, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a hard one. I'm gonna let the comments.
KD is
let
not
us know
gonna
what
be
they
able to
think,
guard
too.
no Giannis full speed coming downhill. Pause. That's a bucket.
But can Giannis guard him when it's time to hit the 3?
That's true. That's a good.
That's
one.
why I said it's
KD is my favorite player.
That's why I said it's really, that matchup right there is really about, you could pick which type of game you want, because they're the same height just about, but 2 totally different games. I'm not mad at either answer. Or who you would pick out of those 2.
Who do you think, Stat?
In their prime, I feel like I would take USA, and now I would take World. Prime KD, prime LeBron, like.
That's my answer too.
Yes.
Stat.
Yes.
Why do you smile like that when you say prime KD?
Because that's who I'm taking.
That's who you're taking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We just agree to disagree, and that's okay.
Your eyes are rolling like. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm an observer. I'm a doctor, Cam. You know, I pay attention to body language and eye movement and all that. You know,
I'm just expressive.
All right, I'm just saying there was a lot of flutters.
Jitters. I'm just expressive.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I feel like that's typically how I explain my answers. When I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going USA.
Okay.
Sorry.
Who would you take today out of, because that was my answer too, KD. I mean, KD and Giannis, because my answer was, I'm taking the world today and a primetime USA. But I'm asking you as today, Giannis or KD today?
Today?
Yeah. Because KD is still that nigga. I'm just asking.
For sure. And that's hard when you say it out loud. I think KD's like this.
I'm still going KD. But why your eyes do that?
Yo, you're annoying. I feel like that's hard.
I'm just watching.
It's like I can't help but choose KD, but like Giannis is also like, what? I think I would go Giannis.
Okay.
Right now, yeah. I think I would go with Giannis. But KD, to me, is still one of the best players ever, so.
Yeah, I'm going to go with KD today.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the prime, but you can't undervalue, and like I said, Giannis, to me, he's just first team All-NBA, but to undervalue the accuracy of a 7-foot shooter, it's pretty.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of hip-hop's most debated and mysterious subjects, the long-running ghostwriting rumors connected to Harlem legends Mase, Diddy, and Cameron. This story goes way deeper than most people realize, so settle in because we're tracing everything from the rise of Bad Boy Records in the mid-90s to the emergence of Dipset, and ultimately, how these rap icons built their legacies. Before we get too far, there's one thing I want to make crystal clear. A lot of this conversation is built on documented interviews, industry history, and years of speculation, not official proof or verified paperwork. That's why throughout this breakdown, I'll separate confirmed facts from rumors instead of presenting speculation as reality, because that's the only fair way to cover a topic like this. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump right into it. First, we need to understand the environment where these rumors began. To really make sense of the ghostwriting discussions surrounding Mase and Diddy, you have to look at how Bad Boy Records operated during its explosive run in the mid to late 1990s. Back then, Diddy, still widely known as Puff Daddy, transformed the label into a hit-making powerhouse by approaching music almost like a perfectly engineered system. He surrounded himself with an elite team of producers, writers, and trusted collaborators whose job was to constantly shape, improve, and fine-tune records before fans ever heard them. And believe it or not, none of that was hidden from the industry. It was simply the culture inside Bad Boy, something discussed repeatedly in interviews over the years, including comments from the late Stevie J, who often described just how collaborative the songwriting and production process really was. Songs rarely came together through just one person's vision. One producer might adjust the hook, another artist could rewrite a verse, and an in-house songwriter might tighten up the chorus before the final version was complete. That collaborative formula became part of the label's identity. During that same period, Mase was quickly becoming one of the brightest new stars, thanks to his effortless charisma, smooth delivery, and melodic flow that instantly connected with listeners. Then came Harlem World in 1997, and everything changed. The album exploded into a multi-platinum success, powered by a string of hit records that dominated the charts and helped cement Mase as one of the biggest names in hip-hop. Those records dominated mainstream radio and MTV, and the chemistry between Mase and Diddy became impossible to ignore. Together, alongside the larger Bad Boy roster, they helped create the glossy, radio-ready rap sound that defined the shiny suit era and changed the direction of hip-hop for a generation. Because that sound came out of such a collaborative system, people immediately started wondering how much of Mase's writing came directly from him and how much was influenced by the team around him. Let me be clear here. There has never been a verified leaked credit sheet or confirmed testimony proving that a specific ghostwriter wrote entire Mase verses. What does exist is a well-documented Bad Boy culture where collaborative songwriting was completely normal and openly acknowledged. And honestly, that environment is a huge reason these rumors have continued circulating for decades instead of fading away. Then came 1999, and this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. At the peak of his fame, Mase stunned the industry by retiring from music, becoming a minister, founding his own church, and stepping away from the spotlight almost overnight. That decision only added more mystery to his legacy. When he eventually returned years later, first with a comeback album in 2004 and later through guest appearances and other projects, many longtime fans noticed subtle changes in his delivery and lyrical style. Naturally, those changes reignited speculation about who might have been helping shape some of the later material behind the scenes. But once again, it's important to separate conversation from evidence, because those claims remain fan theories and internet debates rather than something confirmed through official credits or interviews. Now let's switch gears to Cam'ron, because his path is almost the mirror image of Mase. Cam came up through Children of the Corn alongside Mase before launching his solo career and eventually building the Diplomats, better known as Dipset, with Jim Jones and Jules Santana in the early 2000s. Where Bad Boy operated like a polished corporate hit factory, Dipset thrived on raw hustle, mixtape culture, and a do-it-yourself business model that was honestly ahead of its time. And here's what makes the Cam'ron conversation so interesting. His voice, cadence, and writing style are so unique and so tied to his personality that ghostwriting rumors rarely focus on someone writing for him. Instead, the question people keep coming back to is how many artists ended up borrowing pieces of Cam's style because it was that influential. This is where the story gets really fascinating, because Cam'ron's impact on hip-hop's lyrical evolution has been discussed for years by journalists, artists, and hip-hop historians. His internal rhyme patterns, unpredictable wordplay, signature ad-libs, and even his fashion-forward image all became part of a blueprint that countless rappers studied, copied, and adapted in their own music. Cam'ron's style eventually became a blueprint that echoed through multiple generations of rappers who followed his rise. Several artists who broke through in the late 2000s and 2010s have openly said in interviews that they studied Dipset closely while developing their own sound, explaining how Cam's cadence, creative rhyme patterns, and unconventional delivery influenced the way they approached writing. That isn't ghostwriting. You won't believe how often people confuse the two. It's influence. But the conversation gets complicated because once an artist's style is copied enough times, the line between paying tribute and directly borrowing ideas becomes harder to recognize. There's another important piece of this story that deserves attention: the creative chemistry inside the Diplomats. Cameron, Jim Jones, and Jules Santana spent countless hours recording together, and by nearly every account, they operated as a close-knit unit where ideas moved freely from one person to another. That kind of environment isn't unusual in hip-hop. Just like legendary crews such as Wu-Tang Clan or NWA, songs often evolved through collaboration rather than one person working completely alone. One artist might throw out a clever line, another could expand the concept, while a producer reshapes the hook until everything clicks. By the time the record reaches listeners, what sounds like a solo masterpiece is often the result of years of teamwork and shared creativity. In my opinion, that's one of the most overlooked realities of crew-based hip-hop, and Dipset was no exception. Now let's talk about why ghostwriting remains such a sensitive subject in rap, because this is where the bigger picture starts to come together. Unlike pop music, where multiple songwriters are completely normal and widely accepted, hip-hop has always placed enormous value on authenticity. From the very beginning, rap has been built on the belief that the artist is telling their story, speaking in their voice, and expressing their personal experiences. That connection is a huge part of what makes the genre so powerful. So whenever ghostwriting accusations appear, whether they're proven or not, they can make fans question that authenticity.
That's exactly why even unverified rumors about a rapper's pen can stick around for years, sometimes becoming just as famous as the music itself. It's also important to remember that the music industry has changed dramatically over time. During the 2010s, several high-profile ghostwriting controversies involving other major artists pushed this debate into the mainstream like never before. Suddenly, fans everywhere were paying much closer attention to songwriting credits, behind-the-scenes collaborations, and who was really responsible for writing the lyrics behind some of rap's biggest hits. As fans became more aware of songwriting credits, publishing splits, and behind-the-scenes contributions on major label projects, the entire conversation around rap started to shift. That cultural change sparked fresh interest in earlier eras too, sending people back to re-examine the bad boy system that helped shape Mace and the collaborative environment surrounding Dipset. And trust me, that's where things start getting even more interesting. Now let's look at the business side of the story, because it explains why the ghostwriting debate plays out so differently for these two camps. Bad Boy functioned like a major label hit factory, investing heavily in producers, engineers, and songwriting teams whose primary job was polishing records until they were ready for commercial success. Over the years, Diddy has described his role as an executive producer who actively helped shape songs alongside his artists, instead of simply releasing whatever was brought into the studio. That team-oriented process wasn't unusual. It was the business model that powered many of the biggest hits of the era, and Mace's commercial breakthrough happened within that exact system. Dipset, however, took a completely different route. Throughout the early 2000s, the Diplomats built their reputation by flooding the streets with mixtapes, often skipping the traditional label process and releasing raw, unfiltered music directly to fans. That strategy gave Cam and his crew a level of creative freedom that looked nothing like the polished bad boy approach. It's also a major reason Cam's style feels so personal and recognizable across his catalog, and why conversations about him usually focus on the artists he influenced rather than claims of someone secretly writing his own material. So, when we step back and look at the full picture, here's what can actually be said based on the available evidence. There's no verified proof identifying a specific ghostwriter behind Mace's biggest records, and there's also no confirmed evidence showing that Cameron secretly wrote major hits for artists outside his own circle. What is well documented is the culture of collaboration that existed across the music industry during that era, where labels regularly relied on teams to develop songs, while Cam's unique style clearly inspired countless rappers who later acknowledged his influence in interviews. That's an important distinction that often gets overlooked. At the end of the day, the ghostwriting debate surrounding these two artists exists far more in the space between documented industry practices and decades of fan speculation than in any undeniable smoking gun revelation. And honestly, that uncertainty is part of what keeps hip-hop history so captivating. The culture has always thrived on mystery, insider stories, legendary interviews, old magazine features, and rumors that never seem to be fully proven or completely disproven. That's exactly why the names Mase, Diddy, and Cameron continue to spark conversations all these years later. These artists ultimately represent two completely different formulas for dominating the golden age of New York hip-hop. Bad Boy thrived through a polished corporate hit-making system, while Dipset built its reputation on raw independence, street chemistry, and creative freedom. Even though their paths couldn't have been more different, both approaches left behind unanswered questions and long-running rumors that fans are still debating years later.
And honestly, that's part of what keeps these conversations alive. At the end of the day, what truly defines these legends isn't an endless argument over who may or may not have held the pen during a recording session. It's the impact they made on hip-hop and the culture as a whole. Mase and Diddy delivered some of the smoothest, most memorable records of the shiny suit era, songs that still light up parties, family cookouts, and playlists decades after they first dropped. Cameron, on the other hand, gave the culture an entirely different gift: a signature vocabulary, a unique fashion sense, unforgettable swagger, and a lyrical style that continues to influence rappers today. Whether those artists openly acknowledge that influence or not, you can still hear pieces of Cam's DNA throughout modern hip-hop. In the end, ghostwriting rumors, whether they're supported by evidence or fueled by speculation, become just one chapter in the larger mythology that surrounds artists whose influence reaches legendary status. And maybe that's what makes stories like this so fascinating. The debates never really disappear, they simply evolve with every new generation of fans discovering the history behind the music. That's all for today's breakdown. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. Who do you think had the strongest pen, Mase, Diddy, or Cameron? And if you've come across any interesting interviews, behind-the-scenes stories, or lesser-known details about ghostwriting during the Bad Boy or Dipset era, drop them below. You never know, you might uncover something that changes the conversation completely.